My butthole is getting removed in 9 days, so let's get ready and talk about it. So my symptoms started off as being pain in my abdomen, stabbing and twisting pain. And then I would get like an urgency to go to the bathroom. You would feel like the worst diarrhea of your life, but also not just poop. It was also like a lot of blood. And I felt tired and weak. I started losing a lot of weight. All the things kind of pointed to like something wasn't right. My grandma took me to my main doctor and he just tried to say that it was maybe a fissure, which is basically just like a tear in your butthole. But she just had a feeling that something else was going on, so she asked for a referral down to the children's hospital to like get it figured out further. I ended up having an endoscopy and a colonoscopy and finally got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. There's many different medications that you can take, and the main goal is to help get you into remission. So making sure that all your symptoms are subsided so that you can live a normal life. The first medication I was started on was called Escalation, and it was just a pill form. It actually did help me achieve remission for about 13 years. Most of the time while I was on Escalation, I didn't really have any symptoms, except for every now and then I'd flare up, which meant that I was having those pains again, running to the bathroom 10 plus times a day, and having bleeding. So typically what you'll do whenever you have a flare like that is your doctor will prescribe you prednisone or some other sort of steroid to kind of get it under control again, because you're having that pain and inflammation in that area. Oh, well, I should probably tell you what area. So ulcerative colitis attacks just the large intestine. You actually have ulcers in the lining of your intestine, the large intestine, and when you have matter that goes by it, poop, it can scrape along those walls, causing that pain and causing that bleeding. So it's just like healing a wound that you're constantly scraping against. And that's what's really difficult about it. A lot of people can live with it forever and have remission with medication. When I was 26, all of a sudden I woke up one day and my medication stopped working. That was when we started in having about 2.5 years of trying a bunch of different medications and ultimately ending up in an ileostomy bag. So I tried Remicade infusions, which is an IV medication, Humira injections, which you have to do yourself, and Entyvio infusions. And finally, I was so sick, and the only thing that was helping me get through each of those flares was prednisone. I basically became steroid dependent, which means that while I was on prednisone, I wouldn't flare, but as soon as I got off of it, because you have to taper down, I would flare immediately. It got to the point where I just felt done. Like I wasn't living any sort of quality of life. I just wanted to feel good again. Luckily, I had a really good doctor who kept going to bat for me and was like, no, she needs surgery. It's time to remove the large intestine. So finally, in February of 2020, I had surgery to remove my large intestine and get an ileostomy bag. I immediately felt better when I woke up. Like, yes, I had the surgery pain, but the pain from all the ulcers was gone, and I felt so good. Now, they ended up leaving my rectal stump, which is just the last little bit of my rectum, and they did that in case I ever wanted to do the J-pouch surgery. Let's back up. So the ileostomy is your small intestine actually sticking through your abdominal wall, and that empties into a bag. Let me show you. That empties into this ileostomy bag here, and that is how I go number 2. So that's actually my small intestine sticking out of my abdomen. They sew it down to your abdominal wall so it's not gonna like poke in and out or anything, but it allows me to feel so much healthier because I don't have the large intestine anymore. However, a lot of times people will go on to have another surgery, which is called the J-pouch surgery. I'm supposed to be getting ready while I'm telling you this. And the J-pouch surgery is where they take that small intestine and actually reattach it to your butthole so you can poop normally again. I can understand their thought, like, you're young, you might want to look normal on the outside by not having an ileostomy bag. My thought was, when I had ulcerative colitis, like I told you before, I was running to the bathroom all the time. I have several friends who have the J-pouch surgery. Some of them have symptoms that are similar to ulcerative colitis without the bleeding, but they still have that, you know, frequency of going to the bathroom. I always knew that having an ileostomy bag permanently was going to be my choice because I feel like with my ostomy bag, I have a little bit more control over when I empty it and how often I empty it. I knew eventually that I would have to get my rectum removed because the longer that I have it, and especially with the problems I've been having now recently, I could go on to develop colon cancer. And I do have a family history of that, so it was inevitable that I would have to get my rectum removed eventually. So unfortunately, ever since I got pregnant, I've actually been having flaring in that little rectal stump area. Even if you have your ileostomy bag and you still have your rectal stump, you probably experience having that mucus in there and then having to get rid of it, pooping it out, you know? That's normal. What is not normal is having blood in there. And I have had like my ulcerative colitis symptoms resurface. For the last 6 months, I have had almost every day where I've had to go to the bathroom and like run there 10 plus times, and it's been blood. And the only thing that's really kind of helped subside it a little bit has been mesalamine suppositories, but it still is not taking care of it completely. And so I just know that it's time to finally remove the rectum and go ahead and get rid of it once and for all. Now, the best part about all of this is once I actually have this done, I will literally not have any ulcerative colitis symptoms for the rest of my life. Like, this is it. This will be the final step to freedom from ulcerative colitis, literally forever. Now, recovery for this is going to be a little bit rough, a lot of it rough. Typically, it'll look like about 6 weeks or so of no lifting more than 10 pounds, but a lot of people don't get fully recovered for, it varies, 12 weeks, a year. It's so dependent on each person. I'm hopeful because I don't have any other like health issues besides what I'm dealing with right now. And hopefully that means that my recovery will be okay, but you never know. We just gotta take it as it comes. My surgeon said he'll be doing some laparoscopic incisions in my abdomen, and really he's just going to be able to do a nice clean cut around the butthole from the outside, pull the rectum out, and sew it shut. Boom. I kept putting this surgery off for as long as humanly possible because I knew that there was a chance it could affect fertility, and so I wanted to make sure that I was done having kids before I even thought about this surgery, but it just didn't work out that way. Like, we still hope to have at least one more baby, but we've got one, and I'm so grateful that I was able to get pregnant from that. And honestly, I feel like having my ileostomy surgery finally got my body healthy enough to a point where I could get pregnant, because I had tried for 2.5 years and without success. And then finally, when my body was healthy enough without having the ulcerative colitis for the time being, I was able to get pregnant, have a normal pregnancy, delivery, all of that. And I'm so grateful for that. So now it's just time, because I've been in pain for a really long time and it affects my everyday. It really sucks because I end up running out of energy a lot quicker than I would if I wasn't sick like this. But really, if anyone who you know does have Crohn's or colitis, just know that it's not easy for them and they're just doing their best. After this surgery, I will no longer have ulcerative colitis at all, ever, and I'm so looking forward to that because I just want to feel healthy again and get my life back and have a better quality of life. And it's crazy to think that I can have a great quality of life with having a poop bag on my abdomen. So if you think that that's crazy, then just know that's how awful a life with ulcerative colitis and Crohn's is, that I'm so happy to have an ileostomy bag on me for the rest of my life in place of that kind of life. So hopefully you enjoyed that little story time, and I hope it gives you a little bit of insight into why I'm getting this surgery. I didn't really go into too much detail about while I was on those different medications, but life was really, I call it my dark years because I don't really remember a lot of that time before I had ileostomy surgery. I was in so much pain and so much struggling that I was just basically in survival mode for that time, and I don't really remember a lot, honestly. It was just like, get to that next appointment, get to that next medication, get to surgery. Blech. And so now going into this surgery, overall, I'm in a more healthy state, my body is. And so this is usually a surgery where people don't look as sick, or they're not as sick before it. And it's more so just like deciding that it's time to do it. So I'm excited to take you along the journey and share my experience with having the Barbie butt surgery. Now, it's nicknamed Barbie butt because Barbies don't have buttholes, and it'll literally be just a, like, you know, from the butt crack all the way down, it'll just keep going. So no more hole, and I cannot wait. So 9 more days till my surgery. I was really anxious about it and scared, but now I'm just ready to get it over with and get on to the recovery part. So if you've stuck around this long, thank you so much. Drop me a little heart in the comments, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.